guys, welcome to another video. This week I'm going to be painting on this wooden puzzle. To be honest, when I got this puzzle I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it, but I figured it'd be a cool project to paint and customize for myself. I also wasn't thinking that there's 26 letters in the alphabet, so there's 4 rows of 5 and 1 row of 6 puzzle pieces. I was just assuming they were all the same size and shape. So getting started, I'm just going to cover this whole puzzle in acrylic gesso. I ended up doing 2 coats of gesso when I think I should have really done 3 because I feel like I can still kind of see the letters even with the finished product. But to save time, I decided to only do 2 coats and figured the paint would cover the rest. And as I'm putting this background color down, I'm really just trying to take my time and figure out what my design is actually going to be. Originally, I thought before I started this project was that I was going to draw some cute animal in the middle and a solid color background and be done. But I decided that was too simple and not really me. Obviously, I'm starting this one off a lot more abstract so that I can find my idea as I go. My first thought was to paint one of those landscapes where the moon is in the background and everything in the foreground just looks like shadows. That's also not really my style, and I feel like I've seen it way too many times. I didn't want to just do that as my painting. But luckily I got an idea that was a little bit more me, and I went with it. So here I'm starting to sketch out my alien spacecraft and the beam of light coming from the bottom of the ship. Because I'm doing this all while the paint is still wet, I'm having some issues with the colors blending and muddying while I'm going over things that I've already painted. And that's also why I'm reaching for the white paint a lot, because I want to make sure that my details don't get lost. I think for the most part, while I was painting this, I wasn't really thinking of it in terms of a puzzle. Although I was trying to make sure that I kept enough detail in the piece so that it was balanced and that there weren't any real dead spots in terms of visual interest. One of the ways I tried to balance out the color in this piece was by incorporating it into the clouds. That way there wasn't just one section with pink or one section with blue or one section with purple. It was kind of all over the piece. Once I was pretty set with how the design looked, I decided to take the puzzle out of the frame so that I could continue painting the frame, since I knew it would have to dry before I could put the puzzle back together. I went with green for the inside of the frame for a pop of color that would be different than the colors I used on the painting. And I went for blue for the back of the frame since it was more of an accent color in the painting. Once I had that off to the side drying, I decided it was time to take apart the pieces and file the edges. I noticed from the get-go that this puzzle was pretty cheaply made, which I didn't pay much for it to begin with, so I'm not surprised, but the pieces were definitely splintery, so I just wanted to get rid of those really rough edges with an Emery board. Once that had been taken care of, I just decided to go over these pieces with a coat of varnish, and I'm keeping the pieces separate so that they don't glue themselves back together while they dry. Once the pieces dried, it was time to put the puzzle together, which I can say was definitely difficult because of the way I painted the background. But eventually it came together. You also see that I added an alien up in the UFO. So that wraps it up for another video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.